I'm Aaron again. Hi. I want to talk about social readers, which is, I think, what I'm going to start calling this idea of IndieWeb readers. And I want to talk a little bit about why that is, I think, a good term and why it's important. For a long time, the IndieWeb community has been missing this piece of the ecosystem. We've done a good job of publishing and encouraging people to have a domain and publish content. But there hasn't really been a good story for the other side of that, which is consuming content. There's obviously RSS readers have been around for a long time, and that's like the classic way to follow independent blogs is use an RSS reader. But RSS readers pretty much failed us as a internet community in that they never evolved past just reading. And it turns out that Twitter and Facebook solved that by letting you respond directly in line in the reader. Like if you think about what do you get when you go to twitter.com, it's a reader. You're seeing all your posts from your friends. And right there, you can click the favorite. You can click the heart or the reply button and write a comment. And where does that go? It goes to your Twitter account, right? You can join the conversation very easily from within the reader. We never had that with RSS. The best you got was you could click a button and share the link you're reading to something, like to Twitter, tweet out the link. But that's what we're missing right now, is I want to be able to follow someone's blog and then reply to them directly in there. And that is where the idea of a social reader comes in. And what we've got right now is actually been a lot of work over the last year since last IndieWeb Summit, and it's come together pretty quickly. This is a screenshot of my reader, Monocle. So I developed this. It is not my website. It's a different app. You can actually go and use it as well if your website supports what it takes to use this. But the idea with this is I am following a bunch of different feeds. I'm following my friends' feeds. And when I see something I want to respond to, I can just click the reply button in the reader, write a reply in line, and then click the button to post it. And where does it go? Well, it goes to my website. And that reply gets posted to my website. So I own that comment. And then, like normal, my website sends a web mention to the post I'm replying to so that it can show up as a comment. In this example, this is actually a post from micro.blog. And then when we go look at the micro.blog version, you can see my comment shows up there as well. Where it starts getting really interesting is that, so I mentioned that I wrote this app, Monocle, and that's like my primary one that I use. But there's also iOS and Android apps for this. And these are developed by other community members, some of who are here. And the idea with this is that these apps, developing a reader is a lot of work. Developing the whole stack of I'm going to manage subscriptions and pull feeds, that's a lot of work. So let's split up that work and divide it between the app and the feed polling and fetching and parsing and normalizing. And what that's been able to do is it's been able to let people who are iPhone developers and Android developers focus on the things that they're good at, which is making iPhone and Android apps, and just the messiness of dealing with server-side parsing and polling and having a database of posts is handled by a server. And like I know that I can open up Xcode and hit the compile button and something will appear on my phone, but it's not going to be good. So I'm not going to ever write an iPhone app like this. But now I get to use an iPhone app that talks to my same server where all my feeds are already collected. And I don't have to sign up for another service. Jonathan, do you want to come up here and talk a little bit about Together, which is a JavaScript reader? I pulled up your slides from last time.
Perfect. Yeah. So last year, in the sessions, I came up with a session that said bringing it all together. And the whole notion was, gosh, wouldn't it be great if we had what the social networks have, what the silos have, where you could consume, create, and interact all in one place. And did some slideware and said, hey, let's do this thing, right? And apparently, it at least inspired Grant well enough. So Grant back here, Grant Richmond. So Grant and I have basically worked together on Together over the last year, and honestly, he's done about 98% of the actual code, And you can see here, it's a real thing now. So in 1 year, so this is good inspiration for all of you who are in the room, when you're coming up with ideas and projects, who knows what you'll get. At this point, Together is fully featured. You can sign in with IndieAuth. If you have a website that's compatible, you can get it at alltogethernow.io. And if you are a React developer, we would love to have more help, because I'm not a very good one, and Grant is an excellent one, but he's one guy. And you can interact with content. You can do like, repost, you can reply. It has a full editor now, so you can actually compose slightly longer posts. That's a late-breaking feature that we've added. And it's great. So thanks to Aaron for really doing the hard work on the server side, right? So now we don't have to do that. We can focus on creating a cool user interface. It works as a progressive web app, especially on Android. Kind of works on iOS, but that's Apple's problem, file a bug. But generally speaking, it's pretty great. So that's it.
So the thing that makes this all work is this spec that Tontek has mentioned a couple times, microsub. And the idea with microsub is that it's the interface between the app and the server data. So again, it's separating the responsibilities between client and server. There's a couple of implementations of a server now, one of which I wrote, and that is called Aperture. The idea with this is there's basically no interface on this app. It is just a backend that provides the posts that you're following as an API to apps that actually do the work of showing them to you and providing an interface. But this is the thing that is doing the feed polling and managing your subscriptions. And the idea with this is the list of things you're following is also your data, and you shouldn't have to recreate that every time you sign up for a new reader app. It should essentially, you should be able to use any reader app, and it should be able to find your existing list of things you're following. So that's what this provides. Aperture, as of this week, I just opened it up as a public beta. So you can actually go now and sign up and use it and try it out. So what, if you go to this URL, aperture.p3k.io, it will walk you through documentation on getting it set up and installed on your website. It's very similar to a lot of the other getting set up with a web engine server or micropub. Same idea of making sure that your website points to this thing. Yeah, there's documentation on it on the website, and feel free to let me know if any of it's confusing, because I just finished this to launch it for IndieWeb Summit. So yeah, that's my announcement about IndieWeb readers and social readers. So let's have some fun with that this week.